And we're on the air. Hello, friends. Welcome to Codementor Office Hours for today. My name is Mark. We have another really exciting episode, I guess you could say, today. We've been in the middle of a JavaScript Framework Series for the past month and a half. We're going to continue down that road today, diving deep into a specific part of Ember today. And if this is your first time joining, basically what we do is, we get together online with experts that we're fans of and try to dive into a specific topic. And like I said, we're heavily focused on JavaScript right now. If you're going to be joining the live room that me and my guests are in, you can feel free to throw questions into the group chat. I see we have a bunch of people in the Google Plus page. There's a small neon colored Q&A app that you can use to send questions from there. And we'll try to hit as many as we can to the end. But without further ado, I'd like to introduce today's guest. We have Michael Klein. And Michael currently works as an Ember.js/Ruby consultant. Before that, he managed a team building a dynamic web application for millions of users with Ember.js and Ruby on Rails. He's joining us today from Linz, Austria, which evidently is not having nice weather. And we'll discuss using Ember-CLI or Ember-CLI, I don't know how you usually refer to it, to deploy any type of Ember app. So if you've been working on any JavaScript project and thinking of using Ember for your uses, hopefully today will be really useful. So please welcome Michael.
Hi. I think we'll just start with the presentation, and I'll have a quick demo for the whole stuff, and yeah.
Great.
Then we see what Ember-CLI-Deploy can do for you. Just set up the screen sharing. Can you see my screen?
Yep, looks good.
Okay. Hi. I'm Michael. I'm going to talk about Ember-CLI-Deploy for you, and what Ember-CLI-Deploy is, like said in the introduction. It's a tool for deploying Ember applications, Ember-CLI applications. And what Ember-CLI-Deploy actually gives you if you install it in your Ember-CLI application is the deploy command, and you can do stuff like Ember deploy environment production. As I said, I'm Michael. You can find me on the internet via my handle, Level Was Mike. You can find me as Level Was Mike on Twitter and on GitHub. And why do I hold this talk, or why can I give this talk? What's my experience with Ember, or with Ember-CLI? I have about 3 years of experience in running Ember apps.
Michael?
Back again.
Michael?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm so sorry. I got logged out of my account. That's never happened before, but
Yeah.
I'm really sorry. Can we pick up where we left off?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So as I said, what problem is Ember-CLI-Deploy trying to solve for you? I put a picture of the underpant norms from South Park in. And if you're developing an Ember application, you're basically in the phase 1 of the underpants scheme. You're developing an application with Ember-CLI-Deploy, and you want to get to phase 3, profit or you want to have something in production, your Ember app in production, and serve it to millions of users. But how you get there from phase 1 to phase 3 isn't that obvious. And actually, Ember-CLI-Deploy in its default configuration doesn't solve this problem at all for you. You get the Ember build command, which will get you a long way, but it won't deploy your application for you. It will just build your application, and but in a great way. It will give you two kind of artifacts. You will get the index HTML, and you will get all assets users need to see your application concatenated and minified, your JS assets, the vendor.js file, the app.js file, and the CSS files you need. And you'll then have to take the index HTML, put it on some kind of web server where a client can request it from, and when they get the index HTML from your web server, there will all the assets be referenced inside of there, and then then the client will boot up your Ember application. But you'll have to set this up manually, and that's kind of surprising maybe for people that are used to Ember, because Ember is all about convention over configuration, and something that's as essential as deploying your application. We thought that this might be a good idea to also solve in inside of the community, as it's always done in the Ember community. Stuff that everybody needs should be done in a community effort, so everybody gets nice things. And to now be able to deploy your Ember application, you can just install Ember-CLI-Deploy as an Ember-CLI add-on, as you're used to if you're developing with Ember-CLI. And you'll get, after you've done that, you'll get 3 additional commands for the Ember command. You'll get the Ember-Deploy command, you'll get the Ember-Deploy-List command, and you'll get the Ember-Deploy-Activate command. I'll show a quick demo about this in some time. But what these commands will actually do is basically that what's displayed in this picture. It will build your application like Ember-CLI does with the Ember build command, and then you'll get the two kind of artifacts. And then Ember-CLI-Deploy will go ahead and deploy the index HTML to some kind of index store. You can use there are some adapters for that, so you can use S3, or you can use a normal web server, or you can use Redis for that, where the index HTML will be stored, and all the assets will be uploaded to some kind of asset store, something like S3, or there's also an add-on for the Microsoft Azure blob storage. Ember-CLI-Deploy will upload your assets to there, and then you can continue with the whole web server requests the index HTML, serves it to a client, and the client will then see your Ember application. That's kind of complex, actually, if you heard the first time, so I'll just show you a quick demo of that, how a deployment actually looks like with Ember-CLI-Deploy. So I'm inside of Tmax here, and on the left side you can see an Ember-CLI application I just created. It's called Codementor, and it's not doing anything special right now. If you have a look at it, if you serve it locally, you can see that that it's nothing special. It's just the default Ember application you'll get if you create an Ember-CLI project. It just says welcome to Ember.js. And I'll also already have deployed this I've already deployed this to an app server of mine that's running locally, but you can use that's the same approach you'll take when you deploy apps to production. That's just a small Sinatra application that's running on localhost 4567, and it will serve your Ember application. If we now decide to change our application and we want to deploy it, we'll just change the application template, and we'll change it from saying welcome to Ember.js to saying something like Codementor is awesome. And if we have a look at the localhost Ember-CLI, the development server, you'll see the code has changed. Codementor is awesome is now written from the application template. And if we want to deploy this, because we really want to see that all our users, we really want all our users to see that Codementor is awesome, we just need to commit this. Greet Codementor users. Yeah, so we have a new commit. Our continuous integration server will start in and run all our tests, and all our tests will be green. So we'll get a green light that we can deploy, or the continuous integration server will deploy the application for you. Which we then can do is we just run the Ember deploy command, which will then build our index.html file, build our assets, upload to the assets server, and we'll have a new application. We'll have a new revision available. This takes some time on my slow MacBook Air. But after that, we'll have the new code available. Yeah. Build project successfully, uploading assets, and then Ember deploy will spit out a revision key for you. That's the Codementor and the SHA of the Git commit, which is then a unique identifier for your newly revision. And you can take this index key, this new revision key, to preview your application code in a production environment. So if you will have to set up your server to do this, but Ember-CLI-Deploy makes it very easy to set something like this up. And after you've deployed your application code with Ember-CLI-Deploy, then you can preview your newly uploaded revision. But your normal users won't see this because they had to know the index key, and they will just they will just request your page normally without the index key. So you can then check out your newly deployed revision on the production environment, and if you have you get a green light from a product owner or something like that, you can then actually activate the revision. And this is done via the Ember deploy activate command. We'll pass in the revision. And that's how long a deploy actually takes. And then after your users get to the normal page, they'll also get the newly deployed revision. So that's actually a very nice workflow. And what Ember-CLI-Deploy does is not only it not only gives you the commands I just showed you, it also will gzip your assets and will set up the correct cache headers on Amazon S3 and stuff, so you won't have to worry about performance anymore, or you don't have to worry about setting up a complex. You don't have to worry about cache headers and stuff because Ember-CLI-Deploy takes care of that for you. Yeah, so that's the demo. So that's all very nice. You'll get the you can deploy your application code. You can preview your new deployments before activating them for your new user for your users. But and as I showed you, this is pretty configurable. You can use different index stores. You can use different asset stores. You have different deployment approaches, but after we've uploaded this to GitHub and made some and did some marketing for that, a lot of people came to us and said they wanted to notify a Slack or Campfire channel. They would like to notify a new relic after an upload happened, or they want to track how long a deployment takes. And this could be done with the architecture approach that Ember-CLI-Deploy uses right now, but it's kind of difficult to implement, and also it's hard to mix the different adapters you'd use right now. So we decided that we'll go with another approach, and we thought about we won't stick with the adapters approach that's used currently. We got together and we thought how we could improve this process, and we came to the idea that and deploy is actually every deploy happens in some kind of pipeline. So you'll decide that you want to deploy, then you will build the application. After you've built the application, you want to do something with the created artifacts, the index HTML and the assets. You'll upload them somewhere, and then after the upload has happened, you want to activate. You want to preview your application, which is possible right now, and then maybe you automatically want to activate the newly deployed revision, or you don't want to automatically activate the newly deployed revision. And after an upload has happened, you want to notify some stuff, or the deploy is finished, and that's basically the pipeline. You will deploy, you will build, you will upload, you will activate, and then the deploy is finished. So the new architecture will make it much easier to customize this approach. You can write add-ons. You can write Ember-CLI deploy add-ons that will override these hooks. These will deploy the build, upload, activate, did deploy hooks, and then you'd mix different Ember-CLI deploy add-ons, and you'd be able to customize your deployment workflow through mix and matching deploy add-ons. That's the new architecture approach that Ember-CLI-Deploy will get in the 0.5 release. And to clarify a bit how a deployment plugin would actually look like, here's some code how you could implement something like a Slack notifier. You just create a deploy plugin that's also an Ember-CLI add-on, and you just override the hooks you want to use. So in this scenario, you'd override the will upload hook, the did upload hook, and the did activate hook, because you'd likely want to notify a Slack channel about when an upload happens. If you are starting a deploy, when you're uploading the artifacts you've built, the index HTML and the assets. And after these uploads have finished, you'd also want to notify the channel, because then people could actually preview the newly uploaded revision. And after you've used the preview and you checked out the new code, you'd want to activate the newly deployed revision. So you'd also want to notify a channel about the activation after it happened. So you'd just override the will upload, the did upload, and the did activate hooks, and you could customize your deployment workflow like that. So what's what's the roadmap for the project. The first thing that will happen now, and Aaron from the deploy team is currently working on that, we'll finish the deploy pipeline with the hooks architecture I just talked about in the next weeks. Then we release 0.5. We also want to release a web page with a lot of docs, because deployment Ember-CLI deploy gives you a lot for deploying your applications, but we really have to do a good job in explaining these different approaches you can take for deployments, and what are the benefits of the different approaches. Also, we'd like to have a place where we can tell the community which plugins are available and which plugins are available. And we also want to support the community in writing additional deploy plugins like the Slack notification adapter and stuff like that. Yeah, that's basically the whole idea behind Ember-CLI deploy. I hope I could explain it clearly. And thanks for your attention, and please check it out. It's an official Ember-CLI project, and you can find it on GitHub via GitHub Ember-CLI and Ember-CLI deploy.
Awesome. Thanks so much. Yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to throw them into the Q&A app. I have some to kind of kick us off. So I know you were part of the team, since you were part of the team that created Ember-CLI, can you talk about the creation process a little bit, and if it's open for other users to contribute to?
Yeah, we came together before this year's Ember conference. There were about 3 or 4 projects that implemented something like a deployment add-on for Ember-CLI. So Luke Melia, the organizer from the New York City Ember meetup, got us all together, and I also talked to Aaron, which did the original Ember-CLI deploy add-on, and I did an add-on that was called Ember Deploy, and we decided that we will merge these projects, and yeah, we're happy for everybody that wants to contribute to this. Also Sam Selikov from TED, I think he will do another Codementor Office Hours in a few weeks, is also on the project, and also Ryan from TED is on the project, and Schulz is also on the project. Great guys. We have a Slack channel that's where we coordinate, and there are already some more people in the channel that want to contribute to the project, and it's working pretty nicely because it's the official way, future-proof way to deploy your Ember applications with Ember-CLI, and the whole community is behind it. So it's really a great project. Yeah.
Awesome. So we had a few questions emailed in. Someone was curious. Oh, are there any? Do you have a list of, what large websites or companies are using Ember-CLI, or have you seen any projects sort of fork the repo and to utilize it?
I talked to Luke about that. There are some companies in New York that are using this. Bustle is using it. That's this big content page. Yeah, the company I was working for, Runtastic, uses it. I'm using it on a lot of projects. I think based on the stars and stuff, I think most people that are deploying Ember-CLI applications are using it right now, unless they have some kind of legacy applications. But yeah, it's used in the wild.
Awesome. What resources do you recommend people check out to sort of dive into more how it can be used, or maybe we can, in terms of learning Ember in general, what were the resources that you went to, whether books or blogs, to really get into Ember?
Well, when I started out, there weren't that many resources, but everyone I meet, I tell them that the guides are pretty good right now, are really, really good. They are also using Ember-CLI or they show how you can use Ember CLI, the whole modules and stuff in the guides now. And yeah, I think the guides, the API docs are great. So I didn't dive too much into screencasts or something like that because I had experience in using Ember already. But I think there's a screencast series that is where Tom Dale and Yehuda are showing how you can use the framework. So I guess that's a great resource.
Gotcha.
Also, Code School has a nice screencast series about Ember.
Definitely. How have you found it to compare to some other JavaScript options like React and Backbone and things like that?
At the old company I work for, 3 years ago, I had a look at what was out in the market back then. There was Backbone, because we had a lot of jQuery spaghetti code, and the app was getting pretty big, so you couldn't maintain it anymore. So it was pretty clear that we had to use a framework for the next features. And I had a look at all the available frameworks. I think Angular was around, Backbone was around, Knockout was around, and Ember was around. I had a look at Backbone, but it was pretty clear that it doesn't have the structure we were looking for, because I managed a team of 10 people. So we really needed some kind of convention approach, so you don't end up with something that where everybody can do or everybody will end up doing what they want. You need some conventions. And also we were growing pretty quickly. So we needed some kind of convention-based framework, because it's much easier to get new people on board. And that's basically the main reason. No, it's not the main reason I'd suggest Ember, but it's one of the important reasons I suggest Ember to basically everyone I meet, because it's very, very easy to get someone that has basic knowledge of the framework to get them be productive in no time. And I don't think that any other framework can do that like Ember can.
Yeah, we've been having a lot of guests focusing on different parts of it, and it's interesting to compare. But that seems to be a common theme.
Also the Ember CLI itself is a big plus point, because you can use add-ons and stuff. You get a very, very good build tool, and you can, as always in Ember, you got convention over configuration. You don't have to worry about stuff like that. And that's also the reason why we decided to do Ember CLI deploy, so people don't have to worry about basic stuff like deployments or set them up themselves.
Gotcha. Looks like people are being a little shy, but so I don't want to take too much more of your time with a million other questions. But where can people follow more what you're doing? Are you blogging about any of your work or tweeting about it?
Yeah, as I said, I have a Twitter account. Level was Mike, and also I have a blog. First, I was like.com. You can have a look at that, but I should really do more blog posts.
Gotcha. Cool. Well, I'll send an email out to everyone who's RSVP'd with links to the GitHub repo and some more info on Ember CLI. But if there's nothing else, I don't want to take too much of your time. But thank you so much. And guys, for everyone watching, if you weren't able to take notes on Mike's presentation, it'll all be on the Codementor YouTube channel as soon as we're done here. So I definitely recommend going back and reviewing the slides and sort of all the way he mapped it out. It's always good to get a few watches of this stuff. So Michael, thank you so much for your time, and everyone else, feel free to check out more office hours coming up. And yeah, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right.